People. Hey, Randall J here with some coherent drivel. You know, this one's just a little rant on justice. Okay? It's just unbelievable. This country has no justice anymore, right? Let's start with the Supreme Court. Like, when are we going to impeach? 5 of them should be impeached. The 3 that Trump appointed in their job applications in front of the senator, whoever it was, they all said that Roe versus Wade is established law and they wouldn't mess with it. Well, then the first chance they got, they overturned Roe versus Wade. So that means they lied on their job application. You know, you could be working at fucking Wendy's, and if you lied on your job application, they'll fire you. So we should impeach those 3 for lying. Okay? Where's the impeachment, Democrats? Why aren't you trying to impeach them? How come nobody's trying to impeach them? Then there's Justice Thomas. Yeah, it's established. He's taken like millions and millions, almost $1 billion in bribes from rich guys on vacations, and they bought his mama's house and remodeled it, and she lives in it for free. They gave him that $500,000 tour bus or whatever it was for free. Like, where's his impeachment? Let's impeach him. Hurry up. And the other guy, a fishing trip to Alaska and stuff by billionaires, he says, well, there was nobody in that plane seat, so really, it was just an empty seat. Impeach him. Where's his impeachment? That's 5 of them. 5 Republican justices all deserve to be impeached, right? And they're running our country into the ground. And then, and then there's like Trump, the 14th Amendment, Section 3. They say, oh, well, he hasn't been on trial yet. Yeah, he's been on trial in Colorado. There was a 5-day trial. He had a lawyer. I watched it. His lawyer was good. His lawyer was damn good. But the judge found him guilty of insurrection. And then it went to the Colorado Supreme Court. And they agreed. They're like, yep, that's insurrection, all right. And now, see, the Supreme Court's supposed to go along with that. Lower court rulings, that's precedent. They're supposed to go along with that. But no, they're fucking around. They're giving him every opportunity and chance to break the law, to be a lawbreaker. He can murder his opponents. And, presidents can get away with murder, They can get away with anything. What a bunch of bullshit. There's no law left in this country. Not to mention like Jim Jordan and half a dozen other people did not show up for their congressional subpoenas. Well, let's arrest them. Let's put them behind bars for a little while. Because, if it was you and you didn't show up for your subpoena for a parking ticket, they'd issue a bench warrant for your arrest. Right? You don't show up for your summons, you get a bench warrant for your arrest. So, Democrats, where you at? Put Jim Jordan and all those people who did not show up for their congressional subpoenas, they should be in jail, man. Where's the law? There's no law. There's no justice in this country. This goes back, George Bush and Dick Cheney are war criminals. Easy to establish that. They should have been in prison ever since, the rest of their lives. If not executed, because that's one of the, for war crimes. They like to execute people for war crimes. And they're guilty. And right now, everybody who's saying continue to fund Israel, that's pretty much, they're doing war crimes, man. Genocide is a pretty big war crime. And if you're giving them the money and the bombs to do it, then you're guilty of war crimes, right? So, I'm all for Israel and the Palestinians, they can fight each other to the death. That's fine. That's on them. But we shouldn't be paying for it. You pay for it, you're guilty. So it's just insane. I mean, and all it takes is a little bit of common sense to look at this stuff and say, there's America's justice system has gone to hell. There's no accountability, and there's no integrity. There's no honor. There's no justice. So, how are we going to fix it? Because we got to fix it, and the libertarians really are full of shit. I mean, they might be the dumbest people ever because, they're like, no government at all, blah, blah, blah. Well, who's going to pay the fire department and the police department? Who's going to, just keep things in order? Who's going to stop the pollution from the air and the water? You got to have government for some things. You got to have some government, okay? You got to. But, so that leaves us with what we got. We need a government, but it needs to be so much better. It has deteriorated. It is criminal. We got to get the money out of politics. We should have taxpayer campaign financing. In that one law, taxpayer campaign financing, you have a government by the people for the people. And then guess what? All these fucking millionaire rip-off artists that are in Congress and shit that are making all kinds of money on the side, they won't even want the job anymore. If it's just taxpayer campaign financing, you'll have carpenters and nurses and, average people running for Congress because it's a pretty good, $200,000 a year with benefits. I mean, it's a pretty good job. It's a pretty good job for the common people. But these millionaires, they just get in there so they can do all kinds of fraud, and take campaign money from billionaires and, cheat on the stock market. What's that called? Insider trading, You get into Congress, man, woo, the insider trading is hot. You can make 200%. You can make 65%. Nancy Pelosi made 65%, but some of them made like 300%. I can't remember exactly, but that's impossible to do unless you're doing insider trading. So, we got to get the justice back into government. We got to and that means we got to get corporate money and private money out of government. And the only guy that understands what I just said is Kennedy. Now, Kennedy, he has kind of backed up Israel, and that's a mistake. But, on everything else, he's great. He wants to get the poison out of our food, get the toxins out of our air and water, save the bees so we can have food in the future, work on green energy, and bring justice, get these major, gigantic corporations under control, make them pay their taxes, make rich people pay their taxes, help the average man, get a health care system together that everybody can afford. Maybe start the insane asylums again that Reagan quit. We need those. Half of the homeless people should be like in insane asylums. But who's going to pay for it? Well, yeah, we got to tax the rich. Like in the 1950s, we taxed the rich 91%, and corporate tax was 37%. That's what we need now. That's how we built this country. Taxing the rich 91%. That's how we have our roads and highways and bridges and airports and dams, our whole electrical grid and everything else. Somebody's got to pay taxes. That's the rich people. Now we need the rich people to pay taxes to, let's help this, let's get rid of this homeless population. Let's give them health care and insane asylums and rehab job vocational training, all kinds of things, and it's better for the country, like all the other countries. We got this shooting problem. You give people health care, education, great retirement, 5 weeks paid vacation every year, then they're happy and secure. And once again, happy and secure people do not shoot each other. So there's a whole lot of, stop out of country banking. If you sell it here, we tax it here. That'll bring in a lot of money. What's so hard about that? There's a $160,000 tax cap on Social Security. They always say, Social Security is not going to work, not going to work. $160,000. The millionaires and the billionaires are only paying Social Security tax on the first $160,000. All you got to do is lift that cap. Boom, like magic. Social Security is saved. In fact, you could raise it to possibly a living wage, and give people better health care. Come on, man. Like, share, subscribe, vote for Kennedy. He's the only one. I mean, Marianne Williamson's good too, but I think Kennedy, since he has 40 years of legal experience, is more qualified. So my vote's for Kennedy at this time, which, I've been campaigning for Kennedy for quite a while. Okay, see you later. Bye.